What's up, y'all? Another episode of Shoebooty Sports coming at you Tuesday night, a little later than usual, but it's all the same to you all. This is your host, Graham Powell, co-host Bradley Brown. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
Lots to talk about tonight. First off, quick shout out to our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. How it works is sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track your race with your fitness app of choice. Once you're finished, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit those results under the submit results section at rhinoraces.com. Once those results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section at rhinoraces.com for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. Again, rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. Also, you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcast, the Wisdom app. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, Shoebooty Sports. Okay, so tragic news this evening. At least that's when we got the news. I don't know exactly when the story broke. The story broke on ESPN.com maybe an hour ago. But former Arkansas quarterback Ryan Mallett tragically passed away this afternoon, I think around like the 2 p.m. range in the Destin, Florida area. It was a drowning, accidental drowning is what I've read about it. So obviously tragic news there for him, his family, everyone in Arkansas that's a Razorback fan. Because Ryan Mallett, absolute legend in more ways than one as quarterback for the Razorbacks. He got into coaching after his 7 year stint in the NFL, as a backup. Was drafted by the Patriots in the 2011 NFL draft, third round. Stayed with them for a few seasons before being released in 2015. Signed with Baltimore, was their backup, I think, till 2017. Then got into coaching, became the assistant at Mountain Home High School. That's how he got into coaching. And he was hired this in 2022 as the head coach at Whitehall here in Arkansas. And yeah, tragic news today, man. 35 years old. Here I am, 38, pushing 39. Are you at 38 yet? Or
Yeah, I just turned 38 a couple of days ago.
okay. Well, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
You're not on the Facebook, so I don't get the reminder. So
No.
if I don't get that, I can barely keep up with even my own close family members. So yeah, happy birthday, Brad. But yes, terrible news. 35 years old, man. Obviously a guy we watched while we were finished. Were we finished with school by then? We kind of were. At least we were
Yeah,
on
we
our
were
way
finished.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I want to say maybe I had just wrapped up my last year or was finishing up my last year, his first year as a starter. Uh, Mallett he went to Michigan to play quarterback and then transferred after a year there after head coaching change. I think they went from like Rich Rod to Brady Hoke. I think that was what happened. And so obviously completely different system going from the spread, which Mallett thrived in, to more of I don't even remember what Hoke ran. I know it wasn't the spread, probably more of like a run based offense. But transfers to Arkansas. Of course, Arkansas around this time had hired Bobby Petrino, and Petrino needed a quarterback. And Mallett was the perfect guy to step in at that time and be the quarterback for the Hogs. And yeah, it was his team for 2 seasons. Had a very, of course, Arkansas went from like I think 5-7 that first season with Casey Dick as quarterback, and then that was Mallett or Casey Dick's senior year, who's head coach at Fayetteville High last I checked. Casey Dick, that is. And Mallett comes in, just immediately becomes the guy. And Arkansas goes from 5-7 to 8-5. Year 2 under Petrino, get a win in the Liberty Bowl. And Mallett was named offensive MVP that game. And then that's when expectations, that was the first time we had expectations for Arkansas football in a long time. Well, since I won't say in a long time at that point, because this is DMAC and Felix were just a couple of years removed, right?
Yeah.
But we always felt like that team underperformed. You know, Houston Nutt did a lot of great things at Arkansas, and he did do a lot of great things. And some things were underwhelming as well. And we don't have to brush up on all that. If you know, you know. But yeah, by the 2010 season, Arkansas had expectations under Coach Bobby Petrino, and Arkansas delivered 10-win season, crushing loss in the Sugar Bowl, finally get to a BCS bowl game against Ohio State, come up short in that one. And despite looking like Arkansas was going to battle back and win the game, costly turnover at the end of the game ultimately sealed it for Ohio State, them finally getting a win over an SEC team in a bowl game.
That's
But
such a fun game to be at too.
yeah, I watched it on TV. I was admittedly more crushed about it than I should have been, just because I try not to get too worked up over things I can't control. But I really wanted that one for the Hogs. But they got close. They competed. Still finished the season 10-3, I believe it was. Only losses were what to who? Alabama, Auburn. I think Auburn went on to win it that year. That might have been the season. It
Yeah,
was.
I
I
can't
believe.
remember. Yeah, I can't remember who that second loss was to. So
Yeah, it was Auburn. Yeah, it was definitely Auburn, because that was the year Mallett got knocked out of the game and Tyler Wilson
oh yeah,
came
Tyler
in.
Wilson stepped in and about won it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we about won it, but he kept
Well,
it he
he
kept it
yeah,
competitive. He came
he
in,
gave us
and then
hope.
you saw the guy behind Mallett's pretty good too. That was
Yeah.
what I saw, because he threw about 400 yards, I want to say. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to be doing okay after this season, because you knew after that season Mallett was going to go pro.
I believe that was our last legitimate shot at beating Alabama.
Yes, I like that game I was at. Did you go to that game?
No,
Yeah, this is when we
could
lived
not
in the
get a ticket.
same. Yeah, this is when we lived in the same apartment complex. My brother Jake came up. He had tickets from his boss. He had 2 extra tickets. So he came up, gave me the extra, and it was good seats. You know, it was good seats in the end zone. Uh, yeah, in that place, I had never seen Reynolds Razorback Stadium. We went to a lot of big games there because Arkansas was competitive when we were in school. And I had never seen the stadium rock like that, shake like that. I had never seen an atmosphere like that. Was it the first play of the game? Like Arkansas had the ball. Was it the first play of the game? That Mallett play action deep bomb to who was it? Was it
No,
at Kobe Hamilton?
probably Hamilton.
I want to say it was good. Yeah, Kobe Hamilton, and touchdown. and I mean, if there were a roof on the stadium, it would have come off. I mean, the stadium was shaking. Like, that's how crazy it was. And Arkansas was competitive, but Alabama was Alabama. I mean, and they ended up pulling it out. I want to say that Alabama team went 10-3 that year, about the same. But I think Arkansas was either like number like
Where
not
it was
ranked.
10 versus 1 thing.
Okay, yeah, it was. I knew we were like 10 or 15, one of those two. I think it was 10 versus 1, like you said. And I heard somebody say on the radio like the following Monday, I want to say it was Cowherd or something, saying the only team that could have beaten Arkansas that day at their place was Alabama. And that kind of summed it up because Arkansas was hype and clicking on all cylinders for the most part, at least early on. And Alabama withstood and just did what Alabama does under Nick Saban against Arkansas. All he does is win.
Yep.
But still, 10-win season, great year. Mallett threw it for like 3,800 yards, ended up finishing the season 32 touchdowns, 12 picks. I was brushing up on those stats as you were getting set up. And yeah, and then, goes to the draft. Didn't go as high as, we thought he would. And I'm sure he thought as well. And his pro career didn't turn out like he or anyone thought it would either, I'm sure. But still,
No.
yeah, got
Still
into
made it, what,
coaching.
7 seasons?
Yeah, 7 years. 7 years in the NFL. It's when the average career is 3. But where would you rank Mallett among Razorback quarterbacks of all time, at least from what we've watched?
I think he's the greatest passer we've ever had, for sure. Greatest arm. Greatest quarterback, he's got to be, man, like top 2.
Who would you put over him? Like, of course, you hear arm talent, all that. I'll go all Peyton Manning a little bit with this. It's kind of overused, but yeah, Mallett definitely had the best arm of any Razorback quarterback I've seen. $1 million arm, just looking at him throw. But who would you put over Mallett though? At least this is all who we've seen. I was born in 1984. You were born what, 85?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is just based on what we've seen. I wasn't around for the Joe Ferguson era, those years. It's an interesting story about that. I may have told it on this. But yeah, side note, I went to the Razorback football camp, the Houston Nut football camp in the summer before 7th grade, maybe after 7th grade. I don't remember which, but I think it was the summer after 7th grade. But we split up in teams, and there were a lot of guys there that just couldn't play. I mean, there were just a bunch of kids there that weren't very good at football. And there were 3 guys. It was me, a guy from Carlisle that I knew, and this other guy, I can't remember where he was from, but he was bigger, faster than most everyone else there. And we could just tell, like, okay, we're the 3 guys. We're the 3 guys that can play better than anybody else on this team. And our coach, noticed me as one of them, and he would talk me through a lot of it. And I remember I was on the phone with my dad because we had like phones in the room. We stayed in dorms. We stayed in like the football dorms, which is where we stayed for the camp. And my dad said, I want to say it was on the phone or it might have been after camp. I don't remember. Heck, it was only, 25 years ago, something like that. But he says, "Who was your coach?" And I was like, "I don't know, some Ferguson guy." And it ends up being Joe Ferguson, who, unbeknownst to me, was a quarterback legend at Arkansas, went on to play for the Buffalo Bills during the OJ Simpson, uh, big time. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the Express nickname. Can't remember it. But yeah, during OJ's heyday. So yeah, side note there. But yeah, who would you even possibly put over Mallett?
I don't know. You could probably make an argument for Jones, but I don't think you'd win that argument. I mean, I would personally put him at 1, but that's just me.
Yeah, Matt Jones, as far as exciting playmaking, I haven't seen anybody at the quarterback position better than that. Matt Jones was the most exciting to watch, especially during like just the freshman year. And he talked about it when he got into radio, years after he was done playing during that 2-3 year stint or whatever he had in radio, where he had talked about tearing his labrum and he couldn't throw the ball more than 50 yards really from his sophomore season on. Because his senior year, Matt Jones' senior season was disappointing in a lot of ways. That Texas game was great. I mean, he had that costly fumble that Texas recovered
Yeah.
at the end of the game on the final drive when Arkansas was driving. This is when Vince Young is quarterback, and I want to say Texas only lost one game that season, and Arkansas had them on the ropes. And I remember a lot of people criticizing Matt Jones after that. And I'm thinking, guys, we're not even in that game if it wasn't for him, because he was amazing before that. I mean, you would, as far as a playmaker at quarterback, I wouldn't have anybody ahead of Matt Jones from what I've seen. But as far as just playing quarterback, being able to throw the football, Mallett's number. If I'm taking a quarterback, if I'm drafting my all-time Razorback team from the guys I've watched, the guys I've seen, which is all I can base it on, I'm taking Mallett number one, like you said. So in my mind, our mind, Mallett's the best to ever do it at the Razorback, quarterback position. And again, the numbers back that up. I think he, 2 years through 62 touchdowns,
Yeah, dude, it's
something like that.
ridiculous. Yeah, almost 7,500 yards.
Yeah, 32. Yeah, 32 is his last season, which would have been his junior year. Yeah, 32 and 12, 32 touchdowns, just 12 picks and 3,800 yards. Pretty good way to go out. And not winning a bowl game, but getting to a BCS game, 10-win season. Had some big wins that year. Yeah, that was a fun team to watch. A fun 2 years, as Razorback fans. So, yeah, rest in peace, Ryan Mallett. Um, yeah. Anything to add to that, Brad, that I didn't touch up on? Because again, we got this news 2 hours ago.
Yeah,
Weren't
I got the
exactly
news
planning
2
to leave
hours ago. So hopefully Heaven has a Scantron for Ryan Mallett.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, what was it after the Liberty Bowl? The Razorback football players, after getting that win, got those moped things. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of us that went to the U of A at the time, Mallett had this funny thing that he did. I don't know if he did it more than once. I just know of the one time of him riding around on the moped because you had to have these Scantrons to take a test. And he was just he was looking for a Scantron. And this was a common thing for anybody to do, except we would be guys like us would be doing it in class. Hey, you got an extra Scantron,
Yeah.
just asking the person next to you. And Mallett's riding around on the moped through campus saying, Scantron for Ryan Mallett. Anybody got a Scantron for Ryan Mallett? So little on campus legend there. But yes, hopefully Heaven does have a Scantron for Ryan Mallett. That was pretty good, by the way. So yeah, rest in peace to an all-time great legend, a quarterback for the Arkansas Razorbacks. So shout out Ryan Mallett. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the awesome 2 years that we got to see you play quarterback at Arkansas. Okay, so we'll stick with college sports, shift to the College World Series. Sounded like a great series. I saw not a single inning.
What?
Okay, well, I'll explain why. I mean, your parents still live here. All right, so
Oh, yeah, I
one,
forgot.
yeah. For those of you that haven't noticed, I'm in a different location. For those watching on Spotify and YouTube, I'm in a different location than where I normally podcast from. That's because I'm still where I live, town I live in. But my area where I live still does not have power and haven't had it since Sunday afternoon. So when did was it Saturday the College World Series started?
Yes.
Okay, well, I was at my friend's place using my chainsaw. I had told her for a couple of months I would take out these crepe myrtle trees for her. And she only watches my dog for free and does me all these favors. So I'm like, I really kind of need to stop being a shitty friend and actually do this, right? So I load up, I get my chainsaw, go over there, take down both trees, almost all of tree number 2. Then my chainsaw messes up a little bit because it's a chainsaw and they're kind of fickle. So I'm fixing the chainsaw, right? And it's dark by the time, I get it ready to go. So I have to go do it the next day. Next day I go over there to do it, get it done like just in time, and I hear a storm moving in. We hear a storm moving in. Take the chainsaw back to it's staying at in her parents' garage because I just don't have a place to put it unless I want to keep it in my house and inhale, you know, uh, fumes from a chainsaw, which I don't really want to do. I like to keep the brain cells that I have left. So
Probably a good idea.
probably. And then we see on the news there's a massive storm coming in, and certain places like Marshall, Arkansas, where they had looked like softball, baseball sized hail. Like, oh, that's coming to us. Fortunately, we did not get hit with hail, no hail, but we got hit with hurricane winds that just tore through central Arkansas, ripped the power lines, trees down like it was nothing. I have a tree on the back of my fence, which the electric company took apart, the tree that is, because couldn't get my chainsaw to start yesterday just because I used it to death over the weekend. So I have to wait on parts for it to fix. I'm getting off topic. Point is, I don't have power, or I still don't have power at my place. So I didn't get to watch any of the College World Series. That was a very long way of saying I didn't see any of the College World Series. But yeah, it sounded like the first game was a nail biter, extra inning, walk off from LSU, which is something. I mean, that's just what LSU has done this postseason.
Yep.
And then I saw the final score from, oh, I guess it was Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I wonder if LSU closed it out. Nope, they didn't. Wow.
No.
What was it 25-4?
I think it's 25-5, something like that.
I think it was 25-4. I didn't
Okay.
even watch the game. You can fact
There's a
check it
lot
real
too
quick.
little. A lot too little.
Yeah, I don't think it matters at that point, right? 25-5, 25-4. Who cares at that point? But yeah, and then LSU puts it on them, and the deciding game Monday. What were your big takeaways from it? Did you watch all 3 games? Because obviously I have to lean on you for this one.
I watched all of game 1. Watched most of game 2, but kind of tuned out in the later innings. And watched game 3 from about the 4th inning on. I kind of tuned in late. Man, I mean, LSU showed that they have the most talent. I mean, weren't they the preseason #1 team?
They were, and this was the final that you predicted. I whiffed
Yes, it
on the
was.
final, but you predicted the final and you predicted LSU to win it. So it just sounded like LSU
And
was the better team.
they had the bats going at the right time, and their pitching was on it. So, well, minus game 2. But
Yeah,
dude,
minus game 2. Yeah.
game 1, man, yeah, that was a good game.
Pitching
One of the
duel.
best plays by a first baseman I've ever seen on a bunt. So
What happened? Describe it to me because I don't know what you're talking about still.
I think it was I don't know if his base is loaded or not, but there's a runner on third. Guy squares to bunt it down the first base line to sacrifice. First base sees him early, charges hard, has just enough time to barehand it and shovel pass it to the catcher to tag him out. Like boom, boom. In a split second later, he's safe. But
Well, it's been
yeah,
quite a year for it's been quite a spring for LSU, huh? I mean, women's basketball national championship, and then you win the baseball national championship. You were the best team all year. And in baseball, it's just another dominant showing from the SEC. The fourth
four,
different team
yeah,
to win it from the SEC for the 4th year in a row.
a minus 2018.
Yeah, I was gonna
Man, how do we keep coming back to that game? Like,
because how can you not? because my brain didn't even mean to do it when I saw that stat. I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's
dude.
four. I was like, man,
Yeah.
that's four in a row from the SEC. Who won it the year that in SEC? Oh, yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Oregon State won it against Arkansas. Yeah, we don't. Let's not open that Pandora's box. But even then, it had me thinking like that's another SEC team to win a national championship in baseball that isn't Arkansas. Like this is supposed to be the one. I mean, track is Arkansas's thing, right? And it
Yeah.
always will be. I don't. There's nothing. There's nothing an Arkansas sports team can do to overtake what the track program has done. You can't match it. Doesn't matter. If the football team won 40 national championships in a row, it still wouldn't overcome the track team because it feels like they've done that. I don't know if it's 40 in a row, but it's in the 40s. They have 40 plus national championships. It might be 50 at this point. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
it's got to be over 50, I would think.
They used to have the little counter, like 43 national championships in track and field is what it had like on the sign coming into Fayetteville. And I don't know if it's still up.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I have not actually stopped in Fayetteville in like a year. Like it's been like a year since I actually like stopped and went through Fayetteville. The few times I've come up there since then, since this past year, I'm just driving through.
Yeah.
Because you all are in the Bentonville area now, so you, my family, etc. And if I go run a race up there, it's in Springdale. So if anything, I'm just hanging out in Springdale for a little bit. But yeah, it's I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for Arkansas's turn. Apparently, they have another big time recruiting class coming in next year. I want to say it's number one or something. I really think DVH is going to break through and get one at least. I think he'll get one before he hangs it up. It would just
I hope so.
it would feel incomplete, man. It would just feel like he's a Hall of Famer no matter what. I don't know what Hall of Fame he's eligible for, but he's a Hall of Fame caliber coach that'll go in no matter if he wins a Natty or not. But it would feel like an incomplete career without that because that's the expectation with him. That's what he's taken the program to, and it wasn't anywhere near that before him. Like I remember it being a big deal the summer before my first year, at the U of A, that Arkansas was in the College World Series. I was like, whoa, we're like good at baseball now? Okay, like right on. And then it's just progressively gone up and stayed at that level since. And that's incredible that he has built that. Like he's built that expectation that we expect the national championship eventually from him. So maybe it's not fair to say that it's an incomplete career without one, but that's the expectation that he has built. Dave Van Horn, that is. So I think he'll break through one of these days and get one. I think the program's just too solid at this point not to. And I mean, so is that conference. And it's like an iron sharpens iron mentality with that conference. It's everybody has upped their game. Everybody has just elevated their game. Every program. Like, I don't remember Tennessee ever being any good at baseball, until recent years.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a product of the quality and caliber of the conference that is the SEC. It's just lifted everybody up. A&M, when have we talked about them being great? But well, I don't know. I don't know. They had some good years back in the day. Um, what wasn't Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro like the 3 and 4 hitters there for the Aggies at one point? I think I'm getting that right. Of course, that's a long time ago. But point is, they've had some good years. But yeah, just waiting for Arkansas to get theirs. Congrats to LSU, I guess. But yeah, and another all SEC final, and one of them was going to come away with it. Just hopefully it'll be Arkansas next year, right?
Yeah.
We pick on that. Hopefully, one can dream anyway. Okay, all right, sticking to Razorbacks, very Razorback heavy episode. This is fun. All right, the Razorbacks had the most players drafted in the NBA draft last Thursday. I had electricity then, got to watch I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the entire first round. I kind of, my interest kind of drifted toward the end, but then I saw Nick Smith I kept seeing Nick Smith's name among the Jay Billis's best available. So I just kind of would keep an eye on it. And then Charlotte picked, and then I think I had the volume turned down then, and then I just see the camera go to Nick Smith, and I was like, "Oh, okay, Nick Smith's got drafted." So I unmuted it. Yeah, Anthony Black, the talented point guard from Arkansas, goes 6th overall to the Orlando Magic. Nick Smith, 27th overall to Charlotte. It's funny, like I kept thinking, like, wow, Michael Jordan's having a good draft the year he sells the team.
I did hear he had like some say so in the first pick though.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Brandon Miller. That's a pretty obvious one.
Yeah,
If it's not
no-brainer,
Wemby,
yeah.
if it's not Wemby, it's going to be Brandon Miller. That was the. It's kind of like the year that, even though he didn't work out, it's like when the Colts took Andrew Luck. It's like, okay, well then I guess we'll go get RG3. He's the best prospect available.
I'm sure you've seen where Miller's like, oh yeah, I expect to see us in the finals next year.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a dumb thing to say, but I'm not going to hold anything.
Yeah.
I guess, what's he supposed to?
You're excited. You just got drafted.
Yeah, I mean, he's on cloud nine. He believes in the team. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah. You want him to have confidence.
Yeah, you want him to have confidence, and he's still a kid. I mean, kids say dumb things. I go back to I'll take this back to when I was a reporter, and you remember North Pulaski, the school in Jacksonville, worst football program probably ever in the state of Arkansas. And my sports editor, they were in our coverage area, so we would do a feature on every kid, not every kid, but like one senior from like each team in our coverage area. And he did North Pulaski, and this was like an honor student, a senior captain on the team, believe he was, or one of them, and he was an honor student, and he was interviewing him, and he had said something along the lines of, I think it was like verbatim, like, yeah, I think we're going to win the state championship. And yeah, my editor's just like, he was like, yeah, I left that out of the story. It's like, it's like you want to write a good art. I mean, because these things are like for the kids and the parents, I mean, you're not really trying to just break news on a feature. I mean, you want to do it on kids that deserve it. But yeah, you want to make the kid look good, and that would not have made him look good, to print that, because I don't think they.
It's
I think
probably really happy you left that out, or they left it out.
Yeah. In hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, and now he is.
I want to say they actually won a game that season. I think they won the very first game, and it was against like J Fair, like the worst football program in the state of Arkansas. But hey, they won a damn game. Win's a win.
Yep.
We were terrible our senior year.
Yeah, we can't say anything.
Yeah, and hey, we can. We won twice as many games. Okay, so
3 times.
Yeah. So, but is my math right? We went 2-8. That's neither here nor there. We were better, damn it. So
we won 3 games.
No, we won. We can say that for the show, but no, we definitely just won 2. We'll go with that. All right, we won 3 games. Yeah. All right, so not really. It was 2. But the point is, we knew what it was like to get that first win, and yeah. So again, we're just getting way off topic here. I'm not going to hold something against something a kid says.
Preseason rank number 2, by the way.
Were we?
Yeah, dude.
But dude, even we saw that and was like, yeah, that's
they're smoking
BS.
crack.
Yeah, like that's clearly like Yeah, if like the teams from like those previous years were here, then yeah, I'd buy it. But we even knew that, like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But yeah, yeah, Anthony Black, and that's the thing. The NBA draft is it's not the NFL. It's not necessarily like what you see like on the field. It's what you see potential wise. Anthony Black's not a great shooter, but he's a 6'7" durable point forward that can defend and can make big time plays. So you see that and you're just drooling at the potential there. So he was listed as number 8, best available prospect, but I was not surprised to see him go 6. I think he's the highest Razorback to get drafted since Sidney Moncrief back in like 79. He went 5th overall to the Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah, and Jordan Walsh ended up going to the best team.
Yeah.
It's the NBA, one team, Sacramento drafted him, but the rights go to Boston. So to see him go to the Celtics, and the Celtics are going to be revamped. I don't know how much better Porzingis is going to make them, but I like the move.
Yeah.
But yeah, Walsh will go to the best team. I think Walsh will fit into that well. Yeah, I mean it was a good draft for the Razorbacks. See, they got Muss in a suit finally. Okay, did you see what's the Kansas guy? Grady something.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know his last. I'm drawing a blank, but I know who you're talking
Thing.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, he will what'd you think of his suit, by the way?
Hey man, whatever
Okay,
floats your boat. Yeah, look.
personally, I loved it. I love the whole concept, the whole because it was essentially Dorothy's shoe from the Wizard
Yeah.
of Oz, and it's the whole "we're not in Kansas anymore" theme. I thought that was dope. I didn't even catch that until the next day when somebody
I didn't
mentioned
even
it,
know that was the theme, but
and I
that's
was
what
like,
it reminded me
"Oh!" I
of.
was like, "Okay, all right, I get it now." But even then, I thought it was a dope suit. Like I liked it. The kid's got a following on social media. He's pretty entertaining on social media. Barstool tweeted out like Grady, gosh, can't remember his last name. Well, I'll remember as soon as we get off of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like he had the best highlight reel of the night, and it just showed his TikToks. And I was like, yeah, okay, kid's pretty entertaining. Yeah, he goes to Toronto. Yeah, I look forward to seeing some of this draft class, especially Wemby, Brandon Miller, Wemby in particular. So yeah, but guess what? More baseball and football in the months to come. But we'll get to that and whatever's going on in the sports world next week. Till then, we're out of time, so we're gonna get out of here. So, big Woo Pig episode. So, Woo Pig again. Rest in peace, Ryan Mallett. And till next time, y'all.
See you.